Welcome back. The markets are hovering around 9800. So what we're now getting in is a sense that for every rally, the markets are seeing some selling that is coming their way. Bank Nifty, though, is looking better place. PSU banks having a field day. In fact, PSU banks generally speaking are up anywhere in the range of 1.5 to 2.5% each. Broader markets are doing much better. The breadth of the market's not too bad. So the favor is clearly in terms of advancing stocks as opposed to declining counters. Of the Nifty 50, 42 counters are trading positive. You've got about 8 names that are under some pressure in today's session. Well, there's been a very interesting IPO that's has opened up on the streets, and I'm talking about Apex Frozen Foods. Now, the big question that most investors and participants are asking is whether Apex Frozen Foods could rewrite the success of Avanti Feeds. Well, we have with us K. Subramaniam Chaudhary, Executive Director of Apex Frozen Foods, now joining in. Good morning, Mr. Chaudhary. Thanks for joining in. There's a lot of excitement surrounding the IPO of your company. Firstly, to begin with, give us more details of what your company does and what business is all about.
Yeah, good morning, first of all, to you as well as the viewers. Our company, Apex Frozen Foods, was established in the year 1997 with the intent of being a quality producer of aquaculture products, and we were primarily doing processing and exporting of black tiger shrimp at that time to the Japanese market and other Southeast Asian markets. Subsequently, we had established our own facility in 2004, and we started exporting to the USA and European Union and Canada. So as we grew our business in the last 20 years, our core focus was entirely on providing better value to the customers, not only in timely shipments or product quality, but also higher value products. And as we had grown ourselves in the last 20 years, we have expanded our capacities, and now we have been placed as one of the leading players in producing in our own farms, as well as processing and exporting as per the customers' requirements overseas. So today, currently, since 2009, we have been processing and exporting Pacific white-leg shrimp, which is the Vietnamese shrimp, and most of our customers are broad retail chain and food service companies, which along with distributors who are there in the USA as well as European Union and Canada. And now the present IPO is meant to be for establishing a new facility of 20,000 metric tons. Present facility where we are currently operating for the last 14 years is a capacity of 9,000 metric tons. We have also leased out 6,000 metric ton facility to take care of the growing demand from the customers. And now this new IPO will take care of the 20,000 metric ton facility, which will not only process the existing products of ready-to-cook category, but also ready-to-eat category. So the company is looking at providing, catering to the customers' needs of value-added products, which are currently being mainly produced out of countries of Thailand, Vietnam, and China.
Mr. Chaudhary, let me take this one at a time, and I want to ask you what the company is doing, or what is your policy in place to sort of deal with a few risks and concerns that a few brokerages have highlighted really with regard to Apex Frozen Foods. Firstly, we believe that white-leg shrimps are very susceptible to baculovirus and parovirus as well. These diseases are difficult to treat. So give me a sense of what is done in order to beat that. Secondly, given the cultivation and maintenance being fairly simpler, white-leg shrimps are produced in most parts of the world. Clearly, competition is very fierce for you, due to which margins are also going to sort of be fairly thin. What does your current margin stand at, and what's the outlook for margins? And given that your business is largely driven by exports, how susceptible are you to rupee movement?
Okay. First thing, I'll go take it one at a time. As you had mentioned regarding diseases and contamination with regard to Pacific white-leg shrimp. Over a period of time, black tiger shrimp was predominantly being produced in the past, but since 2009, Government of India has given the permission for doing commercial crop of Pacific white-leg shrimp. The big difference between India and the other Asian countries is that the government of India has put in stringent norms on the regulatory part, whether it is importing of broodstock from approved broodstock supplier and producing the seed, SPF, that is specific pathogen-free seed, which is basically, about a higher quality seed being made available to the farming community or the farmers in India. So the seed as such being disease-free, and of course with the biosecurity norms which have also been stipulated by the Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India, through its nodal agency, Coastal Aquaculture Authority, has been very much effective. In fact, that was the key part of India's success in aquaculture when compared to its peers in other Asian countries who are struggling with various disease problems there. So, and in India, of course, it's not concentrated specifically in one specific zone, and it is widely spread out. Not even though the state of Andhra Pradesh is the major producer, which is again even the coastline in Andhra Pradesh is also quite lengthy, and the area is widely spread out. Accordingly, the growth is also happening in Bengal, Orissa, south of Tamil Nadu, and even in Gujarat, where respective coastal states are also trying to provide more push or actually encourage the aquaculture activity as such, because it is more to do with individual entrepreneurial spirit than because it does involve risks with regard to the weather conditions. But however, proper biosecurity norms with the right quality of seed, if it is being done, aquaculture has been very successful in the last at least last 4 to 5 years, if you notice. That is with regard to the diseases as such. India definitely is placed in a better position. That's why worldwide, whether it is the feed manufacturers or the technical R&D agencies, everybody is looking towards India, because the success story of India is definitely looking more in a long-term perspective with regard to the stringent regulatory norms which are in place in India. And so that is regarding the disease and any contamination issues which you were referring to. Now, with regard to the shrimp products, Indian market, domestic market, is very limited. And out of the total production, if you see, more than 80%, almost 80-85% of it is exported. And as such, these products are in very high demand from overseas countries, whether it is the United States of America, which is the largest importer of shrimp products in the world, or countries of European Union, and of course Southeast Asia. Now in India's case, if you see last year's exports, 30% of it has been going to Southeast Asia, which is not only for domestic consumption, but significantly for further processing or reprocessing of higher value or value-added products to be again catered to European Union or USA or Canada or even Japan. So the thing is, India is right now moving ahead with regard to producing, many companies in India are looking at producing higher value products as with regard and trying to cater to the export markets, as the domestic market doesn't have much of potential for absorbing the entire production of Indian aquaculture.
Right. Mr. Chaudhary, if you can take me through what numbers have looked like in the past, and what is the outlook, what is the kind of compounded growth you're eyeing in the next couple of years? Give me a sense of that, and also tell me what your current margins stand at, and what is the outlook on the margin front in particular?
Yeah, see, the growth, of course, for the company has been at 29 to 30% on a compounded average annually with regards to revenue, and the profitability was also growing at a 26% every year. But now the EBITDA was at 8% as of last fiscal. This is with the capacity which was available as of last year, with the enhanced capacity, and also the core focus of the company is entirely to produce value-added products and higher value products, and as such, because we are not dealing with any of these Southeast Asian markets and mostly catering to the Western countries where these high-value products are required, we believe, as per with regard to, in proportion to the increase of capacities, and also in proportion to the scope of higher value products which the company is going to produce, the margins also will be increasing and will be enhanced accordingly. And I mean, as such, I cannot give exact numbers at this point because I'm restrained with regard to the regulatory part. But however, the growth is in tandem with the volumes as well as the products which are being going to be produced by the company, which is the company is already doing. Apart from the backward integration, which the company is increasing year on year, and it is also going to be increased significantly. That is by adding up more farming of its own than depending significantly on the outsourced product. So that way, the company is ensuring margins to be maintained and actually increased by enhancing its own backward integration, by increasing its farming, its hatchery ability, so that we can have lower cost of raw material, and at the same time, we provide higher value products to our customers, thereby ensuring margins on both forward as well as backward. So taking it on a positive note into the future.
Right. Thanks, Mr. Chaudhary. And of course, good luck with business, good luck with that issue. And of course, we wish you all the luck, and hopefully this business works out and investors alike also make some money off this. This issue which opened up yesterday, in the very first day, was subscribed by over 40% on the very first day. Mr. Chaudhary, of course, talking about his business, the objective of the issue, its financials, growth strategy, dividend policy, all of that, and of course, what the company has done and internal measures to sort of undo or restrict the risk and concerns that brokerages currently have with the company. Moving on from there, a fresh war of words has started off between Cyrus Mistry and the Tata